Good morning, students. English Bahar Bhakti Standard 7 Unit 2. Today we are going to start a new lesson 2.2 The Souvenir. The Souvenir आठवणी remembrance. The souvenir, a thing that is kept as a reminder of a person, place, or event. The memories of persons, place, or event is called the souvenir. Let's see in short about the poet of this lesson, the souvenir. A Lakshman Ronde, a Marathi writer, written this story. The story is translated from the book Bhet, a Marathi book. Means, remember students, a Marathi person also can write well in English. The Souvenir is a story which is a science fiction. It is an imaginative story. A science fiction deals with the world that differs from our own as a result of new scientific discoveries, new technologies, or different social systems. It is sometimes hard to distinguish science fiction from fantasy. These stories look like a real, but it is a fantasy. As like a real story is written, it is a skill of a writer. Through this story, the writer has tried to tell us the changes which would have taken place by 2069 because of new technology. So let's see the lesson parawise. Take the book and be ready with pencil and eraser. Be ready to take off the shuttle on the moon with Siley and friends. Students, do you take the textbook? If not, take it now immediately. 2.2 The Souvenir, page number 24. Let's look in the margin. See here. In margin, first we are going to see. Out of this world means what? Out of this world means beyond world, beyond the earth. Here the expression has dual meaning. Out of the world it has two meanings. It means not found on the earth. One is not found on the earth. And also another second meaning is extraordinary. Panorama, a picture, a very nice picture, that is called panorama. Panorama, a very wide view. This view now we are going to see from the out of the earth. So first passage, see. With the tip of her nose pressed to the window of the space shuttle, Sally sat gazing at the view outside for so long. You know already in introduction of this lesson that this lesson is an imaginative lesson. Being imaginative lessons were written as a real story. Here in this story, the Siley is ready to go out of the world in space. How we go out of the world? Through the space shuttle. See. So Siley sat on space shuttle. The picture is given below. Here, see that, observe that. With the tip of her nose pressed. Tip of nose means this is the pointed start point of our nose, that is called tip of the nose, pressed to the window. In our day-to-day life journey also, we will like to sit in the windows. Window chair we want. And we close it to the window. That time what happens? Our nose or tip of the nose is touched to the window. Same happened here with the Siley, the girl who is sat gazing at a view outside. Gaze. Already you know the meaning of gaze. To look at something very carefully. Kataksha pani. At a view, scenery, look by the out of the shuttles. View outside for a long time, so long time, she was gazing out of the shuttles. Which sceneries are there? Still, she didn't seem to be contented. Contented means satisfied. She looking she was not satisfied by seeing that scenery. She had read the description of this view several times. Before she was start the journey of a space, she was read about that particular space many times. Several times and had seen these scenes on the video too. These scenes now she was looking experience. Before it, she was seen already in a video in study of his journey before. But this was a different one. But see, likewise, now I am teaching to you through the video. This teaching and actually teaching in a class, some little bit difference are there. Likewise, before journey start, silently seeing the video about this her journey. But actually she was looking experience now. That panorama, that beautiful pictures outside of the set, that space shuttle. This was different one. So a real experience and experience told by someone, there are too much differences in it. Reading the description was one thing. Now I am reading a passage in front and explaining the passage like now I am doing is a different one. Reading the description was one thing, watching the pictures and videos captured by camera was another, but getting an opportunity, a chance to view that amazing panorama. Panorama, a very wide view, already I said to you, with your own eyes. It is different to the experience by your own naked eyes. This very thrilling experience was taken by the sight. Being present physically right in the midst of it was indeed out of the world, beyond the world. Experience. This experience now she is taking, before it she never took it. No matter how long she sat gazing her away, and wonder did not seem to abate. To abate is to become less. Here, the meaning of to abate is a verb. So it is a root word. So to is used, to preposition is used, to abate, underline is infinitive form. Here, the first passage is finished. Second passage, see, the earth gradually means slowly, appeared to get smaller and smaller in the sky. Why it happened? See, silently sitting in the where space. Now I am come to you. Now I am close to you. Now I am going far away from you. So my image is growing low and low. Means sometimes we are so far away from something. For example, from the earth. When we are closest to earth looking big. But when we are far away from the earth looking small and small. So here the earth gradually happened to get smaller because their space shuttle is growing very high and high. So the our earth is looking small and small. The other meaning is a clear blue color. Blue sky was now looking jet black. Before it, that sky was looking very blue, nice. Now it's looking black. The clouds had disappeared. The clouds which are in the sky now disappeared, vanished, not looking. The stars were shining bright. Now they are close to the sky space where the stars are there. So stars are looking brightly shining because they are closer to star. And now they are far away from the earth. So earth smaller, cloud not looking, color blue to dark became. These changes only happen because of their traveling distance far away from the earth. In next week, we will see the third passage. This trip to the moon was exorbitantly expensive, but still Saidi's mother had sent her on the trip. See, remember the souvenir about your trip. When the trip of one day, your parents immediately ready to send you for the trip because for that trip less money. But for whole trip, 2 days, 3 days, it is expensive than 1 day. That and they think they deny sometimes because of money. But this trip of Sai is to the moon. It is not the trip of district to district, state to state, one nation to another nation. It is the trip beyond the earth, on the moon, in the space. Can your parents are ready to send you on the space, the moon nowadays? Nowadays, it is possible to reach on the moon, Mars. But in old days, if somebody says that, are you want to come on the moon? If you are laughing on this sentence. But it is impossible in old days, in the past. But nowadays, it can possible. In future also, we will go on a trip on the moon. It will be possible in next centuries. But now, we can't go on the moon and fall there. But for research we are going now, research is going on. Some scientists said that, our Indian space scientists also said that there are some water drops out there. We can also live there, but not now, in future. But some teasing person said that now I am buying the space on the moon, but it is a false. It is not possible to go for a trip on the moon, but it happened fantasy story like this one. This trip on moon, naturally, it is expensive, but still Sai's mother has sent her on the trip. But Sai's mother is like daring, bold woman like Sai, and so she had ready to send Sai on the moon trip. See the sentence, second sentence, Sai's mother had sent on the trip. Underline, had sent. Had sent is come here. What is the tense of this sentence? We find or recognize the tense of the sentence through the verbs. So which verbs are here? Had and sentence. In which tense? Past. But which past? Past perfect. Had plus sent. Had plus PP is here. So it is the tense of the sentence is the past perfect. Remember this. In our childhood, we could not even think of such long distance trips. They said that in our childhood days, it is impossible the trip like this. The longest trip means going to Europe. In their days, the parents of Chinese, they said that in our days, long distance trip is to go to Europe, Australia, America, New Zealand. But the longest trip we going to Europe, if we are getting this opportunity, make the most of it and say, Mommy. Oh, Mommy, Neha's grandmother was saying, but in their childhood, the longest trip for school children used to only up to the Delhi to Kolkata. Sai is going to say, in our days, longest trip is so. But here Neha's grandmother said that in our days, whose days? Neha's grandmother. In their days, longest trips means where? Going to Delhi to Calcutta. It seems so funny, isn't it? Said Sai laughing, remembering the incident made her laugh on nowadays. She was laughing the longest trip is only Delhi to Calcutta, only up to the Europe. Now she was remembering the incident before the trip. Now again come to the space in a rocket shuttle. Now the shuttle was getting closer and closer to the moon. Now the distance is coming closer towards the moon. Then it started orbiting. Orbiting means moving around the sun or the earth or any object moving about. That is called orbiting. In every 32 minutes, the shuttle completed one revolution around the moon. I will show to you the Earth and orbit of the Earth, Sun, Moon next video. See, in every 32 minutes.